Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the problem with Australia's social media ban. So, when it comes to the problem with Australia's social media ban, is that I just simply think that it's simply uncalled for. And the reason why I think it's uncalled for, even though, of course, the excuse is that, of course, no surprise, it's harmful to people's mental health, of course, specifically pertaining to young people, because the ban relates specifically to people for the ages of 16 and under. You know, despite that fact, of course, that it is proven social media does have a negative effect on people's mental health, especially young people's mental health. The truth of the matter is that haven't people heard of something known as willpower? Because the reason why I just think it's uncalled for to explain it in greater detail is that most of the issues that is of course happening due to social media when it comes to mental health is simply due to the fact that a lot of people in the world don't have good willpower, and not just good willpower but just don't put enough effort in general into having a more balanced life. Okay, because the truth about social media is a tool like anything. Okay, it can be used for good, or it can be used for evil. It's just like fire. It could be used to cook. It could be used to injure people. You get the whole 9 yards. It can be used for both things, like any tool. Okay, there's not a single tool that exists that cannot be used for evil as well. Okay, and social media is no different. Okay, so I just don't see what the point is in actually banning social media, and for that matter, because I just think it's stupid. Because it's like, okay, what the hell is that going to do? For that matter, like, wouldn't it just make it more cool? Just like how when I was growing up in the 2000s, especially the early 2010s, it was considered really cool to smoke marijuana because it was illegal. But now, of course, ironically, because it's legal now, especially where I live here in Canada and even some parts of the United States where it's been legalized, it's actually lost a lot of its cool factor. So less people are doing it and more people are talking about the negative results. Okay, that is something that, of course, is a good lesson to learn. The more you ban something, the more likely it's going to be considered cool, because a lot of you young people like to break the rules anyway. So when it comes to social media, it's going to be no different. A lot of people are going to obviously break the rules because, of course, it's going to be considered cool and, going against the man to by, of course, going on social media, especially since it's been banned. So the truth of the matter is, it's simply down to common sense, okay? Banning social media is just not a good thing, okay? Because not only will it just make the situation worse, like I was getting at just now, back to my main point, is that why don't we just teach people to have better willpower, or in other words, better strategies to balance their social media usage. Like, you can teach people, maybe, for example, go on social media maybe only for so long per day, like set limitations, like, okay, at 6 o'clock, I'm going to get off social media for a period of time and stuff like that, instead of just saying that, okay, I'm just going to, you know, just stay on social media all day long. And this is the problem I have with it. I just don't see the purpose in it. There's very effective strategies and methods that can be used to balance it, just like banning fast food. Why the hell you want to ban fast food? You don't need to ban fast food. All you need to do is teach people how to find better strategies to not rely on fast food, to, of course, be the only thing that they eat. So the truth of the matter is, in short, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, you can definitely do the same thing with, surprise, 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 social media. You just have to teach people to use things in moderation, because I'm so sick and tired of living in a world where people always have to ruin things, at least, um I hate to say this in this case because I don't want to sound like one of those edgy teenagers who just want to sound like they're better than everyone else because they say, I'm not like the masses. But I'm going to keep it real. In this case, yes, the masses did ruin social media because so many people suffer from mental health issues related to it. Instead of just realizing that, why don't you just simply have a more balanced approach to using it? And that's what pisses me off, because, like, why can't people just simply have, a better balance instead of ruining shit for everybody else? Because social media actually has benefits, okay? It makes it easier for people to, to feel better about their self-esteem by actually getting people to know who they are, by obviously making content online. Obviously, another one could be, it can be used to help promote your business for that matter, okay? Or something. And not just that, it can also be, of course, used to have a lot of fun with communication with your friends and stuff. It's just that a lot of people don't do that because a lot of people are dumb and they just ruin shit for everybody else, you know, um, on social media. Well, like I was saying before, well, for that matter, because like I was saying, I just don't see the point in it. I don't see why, for something that can actually have benefits, and it does have a lot of benefits, it has to be ruined because a lot of people just do stupid shit when they could just simply teach people better methods to balance their social media usage. It just pisses me off, because not only does this relate to, of course, social media like Facebook, Twitter, it can of course later relate to um the internet as a whole, because the internet in general, for that matter, you know which nowadays is pretty much just Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, uh, you know and of course TikTok, for that matter. That's pretty much a whole internet nowadays as we know it, for that matter, okay? At least you get the point, okay, for that matter, okay? Like, I just don't see the point in, like, having something as great as the internet online, just being ruined because of everyone else, who a lot of people just make poor choices, because of course, as a result of people complaining about their mental health, not just of course for social media, but also YouTube. There's a lot of hate comments on YouTube and just a lot of drama on the internet in general. This rule can of course eventually spread out to the internet as a whole, okay, for that matter, okay? And affect everybody for that matter, okay? And not just everybody in terms of Australia, but everybody across the world, because there's already been massive censorship on YouTube anyway, because you can't even say certain words anymore without your comments not being able to go through. You also have to keep in mind that a lot of the world nations, are trend followers, at least when it comes to their leaders. One nation does this, then another nation does that, and another nation does that, and one thing leads to another, and then next it becomes a worldwide ban of the internet as we know it, which is unnecessary. All you need to do is just simply, of course, use common sense 101 for that matter, okay? And simply have a more balanced approach to it. That's all you really have to do. You don't have to waste your freaking time, complaining and saying, oh, social media is ruining everything for everybody, and just ban it and just make it cool again, if anything, which social media actually has been losing a lot of popularity, at least in terms of how cool it's considered, in honesty. It's definitely lost a lot of its coolness at this point, because now it's considered something that a lot of baby boomers use, nowadays to spread their hate, not even just on Facebook anymore. It's now even on Twitter, so it's lost a lot of its coolness factor. But when you ban it, you're just going to make it cool again. So in short, I just think it's a bad idea. Not only I think it's because it's unnecessary, because it of course validates people's ability to have good quality freedom of speech. It also just simply comes down to the fact that it's going to eventually, um, go into a more bigger ban of the internet as we know it, because a lot of the government anyway doesn't even like the internet, because they think the internet is a way for people to speak about issues that of course can jeopardize their authority, for that matter, okay? So a lot of government hates the internet anyway. They've always hated the internet, even back in the 2000s when it just pretty much started, as at least as we know it today. They hated it back then and they still hate it now. So it's definitely something that we have to keep in mind, because they don't want to take they don't want us to have freedom. And that is the truth of the matter. So, in short, 100%, I definitely do not think this is a good idea. And I just think it will screw up the internet as a whole. Because at the end of the day, all that's needed to be done is just simply teach people to have better self control. Okay, which a lot of people just decide sometimes just not to do it. And that is the truth. So, anyway, this is all I have to say. And simply put it, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and the subscribe button. And that is all for this video. And simply put, I'm out. So bye.